Hello, everyone. Do we have people starting to trickle in now? So we'll just wait. Figure we wait a couple minutes, let all the attendees come in. I know it's still around lunchtime, so.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mhm.
Can you hear me okay, Frank? Audio working
And
well? Okay,
yeah,
great.
sounds good.
Hey, everybody, we're just giving folks another 30 seconds or so to trickle in before we get started. So hang tight, and we will be with you here in just a moment. What do you think, Frank? Should we get going?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure we'll have some more attendees come in, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And do we have the recording going?
Yep, is
Okay,
recording.
awesome. All right, well, I will get us started and welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Let's kick it off. We know that you're here to learn more about what we can do to help you with your prospect research and major gift fundraising on this Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit platform. So that's what we're going to cover today because we get it. You've got a big goal and a busy schedule, and you need a solution that provides everything you need in one place. If you're vaguely familiar with the Microsoft Dynamics CRM, or you're using other systems that don't have a great integration between your prospect research and your major gift fundraising, and you're curious about how it all comes together, well, that's probably why you're here. And that's what we're going to be answering today, because we know you need a solution that supports research and a CRM to manage your donor relationships. We know that you need the data points to gather insights and turn all of that into actionable asks towards a gift. And if you're already familiar with this technology, then we look forward to your hard questions. But I'm going to assume that you know nothing. And in order to establish kind of a common foundation, and that's okay. We're going to talk about what's available in this new world that we call the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit. So if you're not familiar with what it is, we're going to explain it all, and we're going to demonstrate it and answer all of your questions. But before we dive in, let me ask Frank to introduce himself.
Sure. So my name is Frank Choi. I'm with DonorSearch. I'm part of the channels team. We work on partnerships with our various tech partners and consultants, which Mission CRM is one of them. And very pleased to have you all here. Very excited to show you what Mission and DonorSearch have developed together, how it works to really energize your fundraising initiatives, and really how to organize yourself. I think that the tool itself is really um, just outstanding, and the capabilities are really kind of limitless. Um, and a couple real quick housekeeping tools, though. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. You can also put them in the question and answer area. I'll be keeping track of that. A lot of the webinar today is actually going to be Tommy, which thank you, Tommy, for being here, running the show. We really welcome the opportunity to highlight you to our audience, and a lot of our clients, because we think it's really helpful to show them what the capacity is. So, Tommy.
Right. Awesome. My name is Tommy Span. I'm from a company called Sylogist, which is the company behind Mission CRM, which is the product. So I've been working with nonprofits and CRM donor management technology for 20 something years. This is really all I know. I'm a mile deep and an inch wide when it comes to this topic. So having worked for companies like Convio and Blackbaud and worked with Salesforce technology, now Microsoft technology, I can talk with you and help you to understand what are the pros and cons of different solutions that might be applicable to your nonprofit and to your fundraising needs. So today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits. Within that, the Mission CRM product and the DonorSearch product that fits within it. And we're going to explain it all. So don't worry if you're a little confused. Let's jump into it. Let's first explain the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits and how this all comes together. So if you're vaguely familiar with the Microsoft Dynamic CRM, well, excuse me, let me jump ahead. We know that you need to have these data points to kind of pull it all together, right? You know that you've got to attract and retain your donors. You need to be able to manage your programs. You need to be able to communicate and market to those individuals. And that's really what Microsoft is doing with this cloud for nonprofits, is they're bringing it all together. They support to have a nonprofit with all the functionality and the technology necessary to serve your mission. That's what they're doing. So that allows for you to manage your fundraising, your relationships, and the data that supports it all. And after all, your data is the most important asset that your organization has. So to operate effectively, you need your data to work for you and not against you. So it's about having all of these interconnected points that a constituent might have with your organization in one happy home. And built around that are all the different facets and all the different products that might help you in managing this data and working with your individual constituents. That's what the Microsoft Cloud vision is. So from a technology perspective, it's lots of different tools that Microsoft has. It really allows for, it's built using their core engineering principles. It's a cross-cloud suite of applications that really unlocks all that Microsoft Dynamics, the Power Platform, Microsoft Teams, Azure, LinkedIn, all these different tools that Microsoft has within its operations, all built on this nonprofit common data model and all linked together using what Microsoft calls the Dataverse. So the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit brings together all of this, as well as partners like DonorSearch and Syllogist with Mission CRM into one single cloud. That's going to help nonprofits understand and organize their donors, to drive those fundraising and engagements, to help you to deliver the different programs that you might have, like volunteer management or custom solutions built on the Power Platform for your programs. And it's going to help you to accelerate those fundraising opportunities using their marketing tools, using LinkedIn to form those relationships and define those relationships. And of course, Microsoft security is at the foundation of all of this. It's the heart of everything that they do. So let's stop talking slideware, because I know you're not here to look at slides. I know you really want to see some products. So I'm going to flip over into my slides, into my browser here. So I want to start by talking about email, right? Wait a minute, you're thinking, I didn't come to a webinar to look at Microsoft Outlook. I get it. But if you're in Major Gift Fundraising, email is a big part of what you do, right? It is obviously where you spend a lot of your time in any given day. And so you're going to wake up in this Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit, and you're going to have a dashboard that has been pushed to your inbox on the subscription schedule that you want, that might give you insight into your opportunity pipeline. What are you working on? If you're the development director, you need to know, where are we in terms of meeting our fundraising goals? Now, you might have an email from a prospective donor, like this one from Brianna Henderson. And in this email, Brianna is saying, like, hey, my daughter just returned from a field trip to this fictitious museum that we're talking about here today. She fell in love with the gardens. But when I asked her about what she learned, she struggled to come up with anything. So I want to help the museum and support, and I want to help fund a quality education program for next year, because I think you guys have a fantastic museum and gardens, and our children need to learn more about it. So built into Microsoft Outlook, they now have this feature called Copilot. So Copilot is what they are branding their AI initiative. And it's quite fantastic, and it is constantly improving. They're adding more functionality to it almost on a weekly basis. And it's really exciting to see how AI is being woven into everything that Microsoft does. And now, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit unnerving, but it is also very exciting. And so I know I've been reading a lot of books and listening to a lot of podcasts about AI, and having responsible AI as nonprofits is critical. So we all need to become more educated about what this can do for us and how we need to manage this effectively. But this is just a quick, simple illustration of what generative AI can do for an organization. So here you see that this little window pops up in Outlook, and it says, hey, we're looking at this particular individual inside of your database, and we see that there's an opportunity, and it's pulling this information in. It's giving us information on like the latest activity. And with this email, I can draft a response. So I could use one of their preset options, or I could say, you know what, I want to draft my own. So I'm going to say, write an informal response inviting her to visit the museum and discuss a larger gift. And don't forget to say please. So let's see what the AI is going to come up with that little prompt. If you've been experimenting with ChatGPT, you've tried this out before. But what this does is it pulls it right into your email, and it allows you to very easily incorporate that into your response. And it's deliberately called Copilot. So I can click copy on this, and I can reply. And what this does is it allows me to copy, but then modify it, right? And did it say please? Yep. Please let me know when you would like to schedule a visit. Perhaps next Tuesday, right? So I can modify this. It's just giving me some good content to get started with. And when I click send, it is going to track this back into the database for me, right? So that's just one example of how Microsoft is weaving all of this tech together into one place. So now, if I jump and I were to take a look at that pipeline report that came through, Microsoft is using Power BI to give us the visuals and the business intelligence about our data. And Mission CRM, as a solution built on this technology, preloads over 30 different Power BI reports and dashboards so that you can analyze your data in real time. And I can see that we have 51 opportunities in this environment worth approximately $8 million. I can drill down into different campaigns, appeals, packages. At the bottom here, you can see that I got other reports built into this dashboard, a pipeline report that tells me like where are they in the different stages of the solicitation. Now, your nonprofit doesn't have to build this. We're going to ship it with Mission CRM. It just becomes a part of the product, but it is in Power BI, and you can modify it. This becomes yours. So you can open this report in Power BI, and if your team has the skills, you can start making changes to it, saving it as something else. Any of these different reports and dashboards are therefore yours to use as you want. So we have lots of different fantastic data and visuals that are just automatically built into the Mission CRM solution, all powered by this Microsoft technology. So let's dig a little bit deeper into how all of this works. Let's take a look at a contact record. So here, I'm looking at Tommy Span's contact record. You can see I got his picture up here. And yeah, I've got his basic information. I've got his name, all of the different core fields that I'm looking to capture. Now, of course, this is Microsoft. This is Power Platform. So it is infinitely configurable and flexible. So if you're an organization that is a faith-based organization, you might care about which parish or which denomination or which church they're going to. If you're a disease and disorder organization, you might care about what their affiliation is with the programs and the mission that you're funding. Whatever the type of organization you have, this solution can be configured to capture the information that is going to be critical for you to build those relationships that you're looking for, right? So with this solution, you can modify it to meet your needs, but you'll see it automatically comes out of the box with some of the kind of core functionality that you need. We're just going to scratch the surface here today, taking a look at some of the tools that are available, and we're going to dive into the donor search solution that is built in. Now, you'll notice here across the top that I can see Tommy's details, including different giving roll-up summaries, his solicitation, approvals. We're even tracking his interest. We have consent. So if there's a subscription or a GDPR or any different types of consent that we need to keep a detailed audit of, we can capture that as well. We're able to see all of the relationships that this individual has between other members, or maybe other groups or other initiatives, different types of data in the database. We can link those together so that we can monitor the relationships. Maybe we are tracking different groups this person is affiliated with. Maybe it's a board, maybe it's some sort of committee that they're a part of. And of course, we're keeping track of their addresses, whether those are seasonal addresses, business addresses, and we're auditing all of that. Now, of course, we're also keeping track of all the gift details. And in the Mission CRM solution, we are organizing those gifts by transactions. That's the atomic level. The donor commitments you might think of as a pledge, or a payment schedule, which is like a recurring gift. So a recurring gift where someone, in this case, commits to giving monthly as well as annually, because this is a very generous person, on a consistent basis in perpetuity. And the Mission CRM solution is just going to automatically start charging those to their credit card through your payment gateway to capture that gift and store it as a transaction, increment the payment schedule, and do it all again the next month or whatever the frequency is. And yes, keeping track of those opportunities, like those major gift opportunities. So let's take a look at one of those really quickly. So here's a major gift ask that we are beginning to cultivate with this particular donor. Now we can see here that we've given it a name, we got a different solicitation type, and by modifying this different type of solicitation, it can modify the different flow that we have up here at the top. In Microsoft speak, this is a business process flow. And what it allows me to do is organize the different stages of my solicitation and what are the inputs that I need as a fundraiser to advance this gift towards the next stage. So we're currently in the cultivate stage. In order to advance to the next stage, I need to gather what is the objective of this donor? What is their what is the ask amount? When do we think we're going to get it? Obviously, we need to make a change to this. So we can make a change here. But you know what? I can also do that from within the application here. So I'm going to go back to Brianna's record. I can do this from within Outlook. And if I click on that Copilot again, just as an example of what you can do, if I click into Dynamics, I can see that here's her major gift, and I can actually make modifications right into this record itself and update it back into Dynamics. So I just wanted to show that I can work with any different Microsoft application. I can do this in Teams, I can do this in Outlook, and obviously I can do this here as well. And of course, there's a mobile application for this. So your fundraisers on the go are going to have a nice, clean, simple interface to modify and view all of the records on an Apple device or on a Google Android device, whatever that might be. So we've got the basic information. We can see where is this individual's funding going to go. So we're asking them for $15,000, but as we've been talking to them, they've decided that they want to fund a couple of different programs that we have. So we might refer to those as designations. And so designation is really where you will allocate the dollars towards. So in this example, the donor has said, I want to fund your science news learning program for $5,000, an unrestricted gift for $10,000, and your art fund for another $5,000. And so that culminates into a $20,000 designation gift, right? So initially we were going to ask them for 15, but as we've been talking to them and learning more about them, we've been able to grow that. We can see the history of this gift. You know, when have there been different emails and letters and phone calls. And unfortunately, this is demo data, so I haven't made all those different actions here. But if this were a real gift, you would be able to see like how many days has it been in a particular stage, and what are the different actions that have been captured as a part of it. If I come back to this particular gift, you can see that I have a series of tasks. This is a pre-built, what is called a sequence, that allows me to construct, and this can be individual fundraiser based, or it can be organization wide based. I can construct a set of steps that I want to take in order to help cultivate this. And as you can see here, these steps can be tasks, they can be emails, they can be phone calls, they can be additional research like using LinkedIn. And what this is going to do is it's going to aggregate these into my various different activities that I can see and then fulfill and constantly keep track of. So I'm never letting things slip between the cracks. I'm seeing who are the different individuals that are a part of this particular gift and what is their role. And I'm keeping track of any notes that I have here as well. So here, what you're looking at is an opportunity for a major gift for an individual donor, in this case, Tommy Spann, with a solicitor, Christina Herroncourt, but I've got other individuals who are involved in this as well. And I'm able to organize myself. I've got a stage-based setup here that allows me to track all of the information, all of the different dates, all of the different notes, so that nothing slips between the cracks. And all of that rolls up into those powerful visual reports that myself and my coworkers and my stakeholders can see to get a quick snapshot in real time of where we are across all of our gifts. All of this is a part of the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits with solutions like MISSION CRM and DonorSearch. So let's go take a look at how DonorSearch is woven into all of this, because what you're looking at here is where I pulled the cake out of the oven and I said, hey, I've started a gift for this particular donor, but how would I have completed my research using the powerful tools that DonorSearch has in order to execute that gift, right? So I'm taking a look at an individual here, Kevin Plank. So just like with Tommy Spann's record, I've got all of his information in here, but I've also got this tab called DonorSearch. So the DonorSearch application for the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits, it's a very simple installation. It does not require any code. It doesn't require any sort of advanced technical expertise. The team behind DonorSearch gives you a particular key, you plug it in, and boom, you're off and running. So now you can click on any particular record and you can say, I want to go and retrieve a DonorSearch profile. And so that retrieval reaches out to the DonorSearch database and it says, give me everything you got about this particular individual, because I need to have that in my CRM for me to conduct my research. So now it's created that profile. I can click on this profile and I'm going to ask Frank to walk us through and I'll navigate what we're seeing here on the screen.
Thank you, Tommy. So when you're in the DonorSearch entity, you're basically looking at a variety of different tabs. And if you're familiar with the DonorSearch product and our custom profile, you'll notice that the tabs actually correspond with the various areas and data fields that we deliver back in that profile. What we've done is translated that profile into the Microsoft environment and imported all that information back in. So on this general tab, you'll see to the left in the overview area, it's all the fields that are locked are your actual native fields to your database. So those will never be changed, but that's the information that we use via the API to conduct the search and compile that data for you. Next to that, you'll have some demographic information like birth month, estimated age, gender, some scores, some median household income. And next to that, we have an affiliation breakdown. Again, some general information about business affiliation, what company they work for, what their title is there, do they have any stock holdings, how much are they valued at? Again, broad strokes, all very much general. When you scroll down a bit, you can see we put in some free text fields. This is if you wanted to actually have some relationship information or educational information here at your disposal. I know that there's other native fields that you can put that information in. Sometimes people like to have it all in one place, so we just put it there for accommodation. The next tab, ratings and rankings, that's where we've housed all of our various scores. So you'll have your DS rating here, the quality score, the capacity based on wealth, both the range and a specific amount. We have the total of their likely donations, both the dollar total and the amount of various gifts that they made. And we've even listed out the organization that they've given the largest gift to. Then you have some of your typical likelihood scores. So major gift, annual fund, you know, prospect or planned giving, and RFM. The charitable giving tab is where we really start to kind of move into a higher stratosphere, because you'll notice up at the top, we formatted so it's more summary information and totals. It's a breakdown by philanthropic category, how much this individual has given to those various categories over their lifetime. So Kevin Plank has given $700,000 to education, over $2 million to higher education, and so on. Now, when you scroll down, the second half of the screen will actually list out all the various individual gifts. So now you get the actual specifics behind those data fields. So you'll see it's listed out the way the source material is, so the annual reports with the donor walls. So you'll get the organization's name, how the donor is actually listed on that source material, the type of gift, the year of the gift, and so on. All of the various information that you typically would get in one of our custom profiles. The next tab is real estate, and it's formatted the same way. You get totals up at the top, how many properties they own, what the total value would be, and then the second half is really the specifics. So that specific property, the address of it, how much it was assessed for, how much it sold for, what the year the assessment says, and then it has a vast amount of information, even down to land usage and acreage and all of that. Stock holdings is also similar, where up the top, you'll get various stock transaction totals. So you'll get the holdings, you'll get the indirect holdings, the current value, and then the second half of the screen is those individual stock transactions that are more explicitly laid out for you. So it'll give you the company name, what their ticker symbol is, how many stocks were actually traded or maybe acquired, what type of stock they were, the value of the shares and whatnot. The next tab is nonprofit involvement. And here we've listed out for everyone what types of nonprofit organizations has Kevin Plank been involved with, whether he be a board member or he was a volunteer or whatever his role is. Those organizations are listed here. Their title that he had at that organization, the year that was reported, and then location, you know, and some of the other kind of residual information that you would get about that organization. Foundation information, you can think of it as kind of in tandem. If a person has their own, say, family foundation, or they have a controlling stake in a foundation that is grant giving, that information will be here. And it's based off of the 990s that they report out. So you'll get the foundation name, their EIN number, the Kevin Plank's involvement and title there, their subsequent contact information, and some residual asset information and totals. Next over is business information. And it's just that. This is split into two screens because we have two different source material or source databases that we use to cull this information from. And ultimately, what we'll do is we'll give you the database USA, business information, and then the open corporates information. And they're set up basically the same. So you'll get the company name, the title of the person, the contact information, SIC numbers, some of the revenue information, and whatnot. So it's all here at your fingertips. And since it's in your actual database, it's all reportable, it's all actionable. Everything that Tommy has been showing you so far, you can actually employ now your donor search information to actually kick off some of those things too, and inform a lot of your initiatives and some of your processes. Tommy?
Yeah, that last point you made is what I want to just kind of touch on, because there are what, like 300 plus different data inputs that DonorSearch is providing. All of this is being pulled in upon request into the CRM. So therefore, it's all accessible for that type of querying that you might want to perform. And I'm just going to show you a really simple example of that. So in the Dynamics environment here, you'll see up at the top, we have what are called views. And these views are really a combination of a query with a filter, that is a filter, and a series of display columns. So here, I could see, like, I want to find every one of my contacts for whom we have reached out and gotten a donor search summary for. And you can request donor search summaries in mass or individually, right? So here you can see that we've got lots of different records that we've already begun to do some additional research for. And that's just one example. I could modify this filter if I wanted to and expand the criteria to pull in data based upon the donor search summary, right? Like, what is their different ranking? What about their cumulative charitable giving? What about their real estate, data that DonorSearch is compiling that I might want to use as a criteria? So I can just simply add a row, and it's now looking at all of that data that is coming from DonorSearch, right? So all of this is, again, in what Microsoft calls the dataverse. And this really just speaks to the strength and the value proposition that is the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits. Because we at Sylogist with the Mission CRM product are just one of many applications that lives on this platform. DonorSearch is another application that integrates with this platform. There are so many different ones, and you can create your own. But what it allows you to do is compile all of this into one place so that you can construct these types of queries to be able to build these more detailed profiles to better understand who your constituents are. So that is a huge value here, in that you're able to bring it all together. But let me just show you a little bit more about how this Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits brings together the program data, the volunteer management data, all of the different marketing and outreach and engagement touch points that you might have to even further strengthen this dataverse that we're building. So back to this particular contact record here, we took a look at the donor search tab. What about volunteer engagement? Okay, so Microsoft has provided a free application called Volunteer Management and Volunteer Engagement. And that application, if I click up here, you'll see it lives inside of my CRM tenant. So these are the different applications that live in this particular CRM environment, also called like a tenant here. So much like an iPhone or an Android-based phone, these are different applications. But unlike an iPhone, I can blend them together. So I'm able to say, I want to see components of donor search in Mission CRM. I want to see components of volunteer management in Mission CRM, and vice versa. However, I want to blend them together to create the visual experience that is going to best support the relationships and best support the roles of my fundraisers, my gift officers, volunteer managers, whatever they need. So here you can see this free application that is allowing me to keep track of different engagements. If I click into one of these engagements, what you're going to see is it's got data on how many participants we've invited, how many have applied but need to be reviewed, who has been approved, what's the description of this engagement, what's the location of it. There's so much that can be done. This is not a demonstration of volunteer management. It comes with a free portal so that all of these volunteer engagements can be published online in a public web page so that people can apply. And then once they apply and they have been accepted, they can log into an authenticated portal using Microsoft Power Pages to see their engagements and to see upcoming participations and details that they might need. All of that, again, is a part of this Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits. It's just all in one place. So I've got my donor search information. I've got all of my donation details from the Mission CRM application, which we could spend hours upon hours just digging into those details as well. But I've also got insight from the Microsoft marketing application. So this contact record in this environment is not going to have a whole lot of data to show, but you can see how as I'm sending out those bulk email solicitations using the marketing automation tools of Dynamics Marketing, I'm going to be able to see at an individual level, how many of those emails have they opened? How many have they clicked on? What deliverability issues do I have? Have they clicked into any of the forms that I've created, the different landing pages? All of that is right here, and it's all a part of this Dataverse again. So now I'm able to create queries that cross-reference people who volunteered, whatever the demographic data is, what they've given, what their donor search research profile is telling me, all of that based on how I want to view and analyze my different donors and information. So really, if you take anything away from this presentation today, I hope you're going to come away understanding that the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits as a platform really allows a nonprofit of any size, whether they're itty bitty or huge, to manage all of their data effectively in just one place. And with the Mission CRM solution, we've just begun to scratch the surface. I talked a little bit about some of the tools, but one of the features is online giving. So this is an example of an online donation page powered by Mission CRM that, if you'll notice up here, it's got a friendly URL. It's going to be whatever your organization has. If I take a look at, let's say, Team Rubicon, one of our customers using the mission pages, if I click into donate here, I'm going to see their mission power page. It's got a donate.teamrubicon.usa web address. They've got the Google Analytics where they're keeping track of all of this in here. But just like with Team Rubicon, we're capturing one-time gifts. We're able to capture and then build those payment schedules for monthly donors or annual recurring donors. We're allowing for the individuals to designate where they want their gifts to go. And I'm not going to get into it today, but what separates Mission from a lot of other products is that option to designate. It really ties all the way into the finance system. So it is going to link to a designation record. That designation record has the debit and the credit account codes that are going to construct those general ledger entries, because Mission has its own general ledger built in that integrates with your finance or ERP system. So this is not just capturing something on a form that your team has to then do something with. This is building the journal entries for you automatically. So I can create these donation pages very quickly and easily using the tool here that you see on the back end. This is that page. It's just determining which payment gateway do I want to work with. And Mission is integrated with, I think, 9 payment gateways now: Stripe, IATS, Moneris, Global Payments, Paya, PaySafe, Adyen. I'm probably missing a couple. We're integrating with Paragon right now. So there's a wealth of payment gateway solutions that you can choose to work with. And you can construct these giving pages, or you could clone existing ones and just make modifications. You can even embed the code for these forms into your website so that you can construct the donor experience that you want to have to really build that giving cycle the way you're looking to build it. So the donation pages are part of this. There's campaign and peer-to-peer pages. There's event management and Mission CRM that allows you to construct those gala type events. So if you're a fundraiser, you want to know not only what is the research telling me from DonorSearch, but have they registered for that upcoming event? I need to know that. Well, all of this is in the Dataverse. I have all of that in one place. I can show all of that information on their profile record. I can see which events they've registered for, and I can build and manage all of my events right in one place to determine, like, what are the different ticketing options that I want to sell. I can capture those registrations using the online pages that Mission provides. It really is a comprehensive fundraising to finance, donor research, Major Gift Fundraising solution, all built on this Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit that gives you a complete and holistic understanding of your constituents and all of your data. So that's a mouthful, but I really want to make sure that you get a quick glimpse into what all of this functionality can provide. I'm going to jump back over to our PowerPoint and just make sure that we're clear on a couple of different things. Mission CRM is a product. It is licensed to your organization, so it can be applied to all of your users, right? Your organization needs to have a Dynamics 365 environment. So if you already have a Microsoft reseller, or what they call like a CSP, a cloud solution provider, who you're buying licenses for, maybe you're buying Office 365 licenses and Windows licenses, you can just send them a note, say, hey, I need to buy some licenses of Dynamics. And so that creates the environment for you. The Mission application is installed in that environment. The Dynamics application, the DonorSearch application is installed in your environment. And then we go through an implementation process to help configure it to match your specific organizational needs. We're going to migrate your data. We're going to provide tailored training to your staff. We're going to support you through the launch to get your donation pages up and running, to migrate those recurring donors, to help you take, maybe it's from the Razor's Edge or other similar systems, and really start to build a more holistic CRM for your nonprofit, utilizing the research power that DonorSearch is providing. And DonorSearch is another application. It has unlimited organizational licenses and seats. You get up to 2,500 API calls to view those records or to retrieve them and pull them into the Dynamics CRM environment. And they provide training and client support in an unlimited way to your nonprofit. So really, this next slide kind of helps to bring it together, because when we're talking about Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit, you have to have that, the Microsoft products, right? And we can help you with that. So if this is confusing, that's why we're here. We're going to help you. With the Microsoft CRM, you get the Azure subscription. Azure is where Mission utilizes Azure heavily. This is where the donation pages are hosted. This is where a lot of the data actually lives, so that it is not bogging down the CRM like other systems might. So it can handle high data volumes, millions and millions and millions of records running different queries. You get all these other tools. The Power Platform is at the core. So your team can build custom applications for whatever your purposes are to really accent and complement the data that you have. Then you have those Microsoft core products like Microsoft 365, the Office products integrated. So like we saw with Outlook, being able to send emails and then track those back into the database using their Copilot AI initiatives, using the data that you can get from LinkedIn, all of that in one place. And there really is a lot more, because it is Microsoft. So hopefully this helps to kind of give you a glimpse and a bit more understanding of how this cloud for nonprofits, living on top of the Microsoft technology stack with solution providers like Mission and DonorSearch, can provide any nonprofit of any size a very comprehensive solution to meet your needs. Whew, that's a lot. I know it is. I want to see what questions we have and that we might be able to address before we let you go. Frank, did we have any other questions that were unanswered so far?
No. So we actually had a few questions roll in, but we were able to answer them during the presentation. So
okay.
Right now, it doesn't look like we have any. One thing that I did want to emphasize, though, to really everyone, is the beauty of this is, as Tommy had pointed out in his previous couple slides, a lot of this stuff, like the licenses and stuff, it seems overwhelming. It seems like you might have to pay, so much money. You probably already have it. There's a number of things, because everyone's connected to Microsoft in one fashion or another. So you probably already have like a number of these licenses already. And you could just leverage what you already have. The other thing is Microsoft offers grants to nonprofits just for this, to help nonprofits actually expand their databases, expand their technological capabilities, so that they can actually fundraise more efficiently and better. And the other thing that I just really love about it is, I think that what Tommy and the people over at Mission CRM has been able to build is really exciting, because the name of all of this is really to be efficient, to use the data in a way that actually helps you to be more efficient with your time. And I think they've done a really great job in building something that leverages and takes advantage of the Microsoft ecosystem in a way that makes it much easier for the client, you, to actually get all the information that you need and actually like make it actionable. So now you don't really have to dig so much around. You can actually have the tech work for you and push this information out to you. So I find that really exciting. And I hope that everybody else here on the call finds it just as exciting as I do.
Awesome. Well, I'll quickly jump back to our presentation here that is right there, and provide the contact information. Again, my name is Tommy. My company is Syllogist. Mission CRM is the product that I help organizations to select. I can talk all day, any day you want, about the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofits. I can help to answer those questions of, is it a good fit for me? Can it replace the Razor's Edge? Can it replace system X, Y, or Z? Whatever those questions might be, I look forward to having those conversations with you, because really at the end of the day, what's important is that your nonprofit has the right tools, and that your nonprofit not only has the right tools, but the right expectations for how those tools are going to meet your needs and serve your purpose and serve your mission. Because the last thing that I know, Frank, I can speak for Frank on this one, is we don't want for you to adopt some technology that is not going to meet your needs, that is too much for you, that is, or not sufficient to meet your needs, right? So we want to help you in finding the right combination of tools. There are many free applications. If you're a very small organization on a shoestring budget, there's some free applications that we can point you to. The Mission CRM product and the DonorSearch product, those are not free. They live on this platform. They do have different licensing and different fees associated with them. And I'm happy to talk you through that to help you to understand the way the fee scale works for different organizations. But like I said, if it's not a good fit, I want to point you in the right direction. I want to make sure that you have the information and the knowledge you need to help your organization make the right choices. So please do ask those hard questions that you might have. You got us for a few more minutes, and then we will ensure that we share this recording with those individuals who are unable to attend. And of course, we can meet with you one-on-one whenever it is convenient. So any final questions from the audience before we let you go?
No, doesn't look like anybody has any new questions.
Okay.
So with that, I'd like to thank everyone. Tommy, I'd like to thank you as well for presenting here today. It's been a pleasure, and I, again, really excited about this capability.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see the technology advance so much. Like I've said at the beginning, I've been doing this for a long time, and you get tired of bells and whistles. You really want to see organizations, move the needle, raise more money, support their programs, and what Microsoft is doing really does provide that. And it's fun to partner with a fantastic team like DonorSearch to help organizations find the right donors to support their programs. So thank you for inviting us, Frank, and look forward to speaking with all of you soon, I hope. Have a good rest of your day.
See you, everyone.